So welcome everybody to the Overthrow at the Premier League Cricket Club, brought to you as always and powered by Spond. And we're going to do one of what we'll do a number of during the season. It's what we like to call Overseas at the Crease. We did it with some of our boys who were playing down in Australia over the winter, and we're going to do it with the overseas who are coming over here now. We had to get onto this one quickly. It's not very often you can say after three weekends of a Premier League season that we've got someone averaging over 108. But it's mainly down to one innings, which has made a bit of noise around the world, basically, as well. So join us today. We've got Mr. Jayden Draper, Aussie under-19, but more importantly, Ashmanhaugh and Barton Wanderers, because as everyone knows, we don't talk to them if they're not Premier League. How are you doing, Jayden?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. Yeah, let's cut to the chase. 18 for 2. You stride out to the middle last Saturday. What did Jake Tarling say to you?
Can't exactly remember. I think we try and keep it lighthearted, but I think he said he's swinging it a bit, a little bit of movement on the pitch, and yeah, that was about it. So yeah.
So you basically ignored him and got on with your own thing then?
Well, not really. I think I played pretty sensibly for most of the innings, but then yeah, the last hour or so, I started to have a crack at it a bit more. So yeah.
So for anyone who hasn't picked up on this, and it's been on our socials this week, it's been on Cricket Australia socials, so you should have. Jayden scored 250 of 155 balls for Ashmanhaugh last weekend in a partnership of 420 with Bedfordshire's Jake Tarling. Got to ask, have you ever played in a partnership that big before?
No, definitely not. I think maybe 200 was the biggest before, so we've doubled it. So
yeah. I mean, just talk us through the innings then. You started off, you say, reasonably steadily. The last half hour, you've just gone bananas. There's no two ways about it. And we will, by the way, come to the fact that Jay Palmer, who came in after you, might have not lasted very long, because we do find that quite amusing. But just talk us through the innings.
Well, yeah, I started sensibly off. I think my strike rate through the innings was quite high. It was just one of those days where everything I hit sort of went into the gap. So there was a lot of fours and a lot of boundaries to start, which might have looked like I was teeing it up a bit, but I was actually playing a lot along the ground. I don't know what my strike rate was on early on, but it was over a run of ball. And then sort of as the innings progressed, I think I got to 100 relatively early, maybe 25, 30 overs in.
Yeah.
And we were still only 2 down and we had plenty on the board. So that's when me and Jake sort of started being a bit more aggressive and started going after our shots a bit more. And yeah, it was literally just one of those days where everything seemed to hit the bat well, and the pitch was nice and it was a fast outfield. So everything just seemed to go our way. So, yeah.
Well, we had a conversation. I was at some cricket yesterday, and we had a conversation about these guys who score these big runs. Got to ask a question that came up. Did you get dropped at all?
Yeah, so I got dropped on 195, I think, which was good. And yeah, that was the only time I got dropped. Yeah. I gave one chance. Yeah.
And would you complain about the LBW you were given?
No. I wasn't too fussed. I wasn't too fussed. There was only a couple overs left. I was having more of a laugh than getting angry. Yeah. I
was going to ask that. Once you've got to that, 100 partnership, happy days. 200, we're going nicely here, boys, aren't we? You must have got to 250, 300 with Jake, and those conversations in the middle of the pitch, they must have been just bloody amusing, to say the least.
Yeah, well, we sort of gathered up in the middle, and normally you tell them what's going on and stuff, but we sort of just sat in silence for a few seconds and said, "Same again, yeah, righto, same again."
That was it for them for that many overs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When you did eventually go, and Jay Palmer came in to replace you, what did you say to him?
I didn't really say anything to him. I feel bad for Jay because it was a lose-lose situation, because if he goes at the same clip we were going at, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's expected. But then if he gets nothing, it's like, you know, you're one of those guys that's gone nothing after. So he had like 2-3 overs to try and have a go at it, and he did the team play, to be fair to him, and he went for it first ball, but it just looks amusing on the scorecard. So
yeah, and to be fair, I mean, when Jay went, you were 438 for 4 at the end of the 48th over. And there's still another 39 runs went on in the last 2 overs as well, from obviously Jake Tarling and Louis Stronach, who've gone out there in a couple of fours as well. Was it just one of those pitches that you just do as it came on, it's going?
Yeah. The pitch was like it was really nice deck. Like obviously it's a little bit low and slow compared to Australia, but like it was a nice deck. You could trust the bounce most of the time. I think pace was like pretty easy to face. I don't think there was a lot of tricks, like a little bit of swing early, spin some stayed a bit low, but you could always trust the bounce, especially when they pitched it up. So it just came on nicely. So
are you aware of the records of Australians who've come over and played in the East Anglia League over the years?
No, I haven't been told much. I'm not one to look through the stats too much. So.
My colleague Hugh made a comment on our weekly show the other day that said, we think Jayden Draper's already hit more than Fraser McGurk did in a whole season when he came over. It's fair to say Aussies have not always got on in East Anglia, because I think you hit the nail on the head. The pitches are hard. They're the best pitches in the country by a long way, but they're still a slightly lower and slower than what you're used to back home, aren't they? Yeah,
definitely. It took a little bit of getting used to. You gotta plant the front dog a lot. Not as much back foot play. So yeah, especially when you're trusting the bounce and you're trying to pull off your hip and stuff like that, which doesn't really work here. Which is probably why Fraser McGurk didn't do as well, because he likes to hit sort of there and all that. But I'm surprised. Did he not? He didn't do.
Not too well. Whereas the other Jake Weatherall, he did all right for Great Witchingham a couple of years ago, and he's sort of got on a decent path since then. So we joke about it, but at the same time, the pitches are completely different, and the grounds are completely different, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit smaller, I'd say, and the outfields are like lightning. So it's nice. Yeah. It's real nice. It's real nice. It's a nice change. It's like you're sacrificing the field and the outfield and stuff for maybe a slightly lesser pitch, but it sort of balances out. So
100%, and that's something that when we did overseas the Crease in the winter, every one of our boys who were down your end were complaining about the outfields in Australia being far too slow, and it's like. The decks are great, but the outfield, we might as well be back home. And it's quite interesting to hear you the other way around, isn't it? Completely.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's brought you over to the UK this year then? You went to the Under-19s World Cup down in Namibia. What made you say that this is the year that you're going to come and do a season in the Premier Leagues?
Well, I always wanted to do it, and I did my first year of uni last year, and I enjoyed my course, but I needed a break, and I thought, what better time to come and play more cricket, sort of, obviously after the World Cup and after a season, and hopefully progress my cricket further coming here and just bat more and try and get better. So when I go back home, I can. Hopefully take the form here or learn something or just better my game. So that was sort of the thought process there.
Yeah, that's what the likes of Caleb Jewell have said to us in the past when they've come over and played Premier League cricket, to be able to sort of go back home. They've learned new things, see where it takes them with their career over there. And you look at Caleb playing for Derbyshire here in the UK right now. Overall, have you found the sort of whole Premier League and cricket down East Anglia just black and white different to back home, or is that club element just something that you're used to?
I think the club side of things is pretty similar. Like I'd say that there's because I feel like there's a lot more clubs here, so the clubs are like a lot more homey to a lot of people. Yeah. Like when you play sort of in Premier cricket, because there's only like 10, 12 clubs, it's sort of like, you might not have necessarily been there all the way through, But
Yeah.
here it seems like it's sort of like your one club, and you've got a lot of homebodies that have played at this club forever, and it's got a real homey feel. I said when I rocked up to the AB Wanderers grounding, Barton Turf, I think it's called. I said it's got some nice character about it, and some, like, nice tree coverage, and the clubhouse is really homey, and the people are real friendly. So, yeah. Another thing that they got teas here, which isn't a thing in grade cricket in Australia. So got some nice lunches at halfway through, which is nice. So
this is great. This is just completely black and white, because our lads were complaining about the lack of teas back in Australia.
Yeah.
And it we do know we've changed a lot in this country over the last few years, and since COVID, not all the leagues around the country do teas. So you're sort of in a good place for that. In terms of the standard of the cricket that you're finding, how have you found that?
Good. I think that there's like probably more like of a range, I'd say. Like, you get some like unbelievable cricketers, and then you got some like great cricketers, and then it's sort of like can drop off a little bit. Still good players, but like, you know, I'd say it can sort of, you'll have like great like first graders, quite a few second graders, and then you might get like a couple third and fourth graders, which which makes it like seem like a little bit of a difference. So, but it's different in that, like, you know, if you're facing a bowler that's, you know, like obviously one of the better ones on their team, you can sort of see it out and maybe try and get to maybe a bowler that might be a little bit more inconsistent. So it's definitely different in that sense, because when you're playing, you know, just first grade in like Queensland, you don't really got any bowlers that really are that bad. So you sort of have to find ways to score runs off anyone. So, yeah.
It's different. It's horses for courses at the end of the day, isn't it? And you managed to put one of their opening bowlers, got a ton on Saturday. You know, Mark Smith, very well respected bowler in the East Anglian League, been around a long time, played national counties cricket. Yeah. Do you feel for the bowler a little bit, or are you just that ruthless batter?
Well, I think you take the good and the bad days, right? So bowlers can have you in all sorts and get you out, and I don't think they feel bad when they get me out for cheap. So I'm not going to feel bad for them when they get some taps. So
absolutely, totally agree, definitely. So, hey, let's just look back to the last few months. I mean, you've had an amazing few months, haven't you? I mean, spent a while down in Namibia at the World Cup with the Aussie under-19s. I'm not going to apologise for Thomas Rue doing a job on you on the day, because we've been huge supporters of Thomas for 2 or 3 years right now. How did you find that whole experience of the under-19s World Cup?
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was just the do-up was amazing. Like I can't, like, it was a World Cup. It was like the men's World Cup. It was massive. Like, you know, lots of media and like all these places like posted off, and you were really well looked after by everyone. And, you know, like even like police escorts to the games, and, you know, like security and all that stuff. It was pretty surreal. You had to really like first game was like, it was just ridiculous. Like the amount of cameras on the field and people getting interviewed, and it's just something I've never experienced before. So it was pretty, it was pretty cool. It was definitely an awesome experience.
100. I mean, around the world, we don't always give ICC credit for these things, but we watched it from afar. We were in touch with Thomas's parents while they were out there, and you could just see the whole thing was being regarded as a mini World Cup, full stop. And they made you guys feel really precious, really good about that. In terms of experience, doing that with a bunch of lads that you've been playing with for a year or two as well, though. I mean, how good's that?
Yeah, definitely. A couple of, like, there was a few Queenslanders in the team, and we got on really well. So it made it all the better that we could experience it with your mates, and yeah, it was an awesome trip. Like the off the field stuff was awesome, because we were all so close. Because we had a tour beforehand in Brisbane, and, you know, we already knew a lot of the lads, and then obviously I spent a lot of time with all the Queensland boys, and we just got so close because of how much time we spent together. So it was a really tight group, which is awesome.
And it's nice. It's nice that you can do that at that age group, and hopefully 1 or 2, 3 or 4, even 5 or 6 of you go through all the way to the baggy green and actually get to play for the country.
Yeah, that's right.
But even if you just end up playing for Queensland together or against each other, Queensland, New South Wales, that's at that level, it's just brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's yeah, it's yeah, definitely surreal. I think, yeah, definitely. I agree with everything you're saying. So yeah.
Going back in the day, I've done my research before I came on here, and I've got to ask the question: when did it become cricket with you? Because the one thing that really bloody annoys me about you is your dad was a champion tennis player and pro golfer, and as a consequence, you've just got balls and hitting them in your running in your family, haven't you?
Yeah, I've always been it was actually cricket and soccer or football
Okay.
a lot growing up. I've always
Yeah.
played golf. Like, I love my golf.
Have you brought the clubs with you?
No, I didn't, because I didn't know how much I was going to be able to play here. But I've gone to the range a few times while I've been here. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. And yeah, then I've always played tennis. Never seriously. But I've always had a racket and always had a hit. So yeah. Yeah.
And as a family, obviously a sportive family, cricket for you has always been the big one. And you are at one of the best and most well-known clubs back in Queensland, at Valley, aren't you?
Yeah. Valley's is a pretty big club. So a lot of people, when you mention, they go, "Oh yeah, Valley's." Yeah, no, we know them. So
yeah, absolutely. Have you been sent over by Valley as well on a bit of a sort of scouting mission for players for the future?
not quite. Yeah, no, not really. It was more. I more led it.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely let them know if there's a couple blokes over here that want to come have a season in Queensland. So yeah.
Absolutely. We always like to ask the question, have you seen any players yet? I know it's very early season where you've gone, hang on a minute, got to keep an eye on that one. Didn't know about this fella.
We've only played 3 games. I think the first game we played, we got rolled against, I think, Mildenhall. They had a few good bowlers, I thought. I don't know.
You were Carrie Appard.
Yeah. And yeah, I think there was a lot of talk about him before the game. He's taken a lot of wickets in the league for the last few years. So yeah, Carrie Apper, and there was a couple of good bowlers in that team. I didn't really get to see much of their batting, and but I think there'll definitely be a lot of players that I'll be impressed with. So
absolutely. What about from the under 19s World Cup, with the exception of Thomas, because we all know about Thomas, obviously. Was there anyone else that you saw over there from the West Indies, from Sri Lanka, from we won't talk about Surya Vanashi because he's just a different ball game altogether.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that you saw out there and thought, love to see them play a bit further down in Australia or in England, etc.?
I thought a South African bloke was awesome. Jason Rios, his name was.
Yeah.
He got 100 against us in a trial match. He didn't do. I think he got like not many, like a handful against us in the actual game of the World Cup. But I thought he was awesome. India's keeper, I thought was awesome. Kundu.
Yeah.
He's only like this tall and he hits it a mile. I don't know how it's possible.
Him and Surya Vanashi together, quite a pair.
Yeah. To be fair, the entire Indian team I thought was pretty special. Yeah, I think that those are the main ones off the top of my head. There was a lot of good players.
Yeah,
those are probably the couple that stick out.
Yeah, so. We're of the belief there's probably up to a dozen players between yourselves in Australia, India, South Africa, and England that will go on to play Test cricket. We've got a list that we wrote down afterwards. And Ollie Peake, obviously from you guys, everyone's already talking about him. Surya Vanashi, Thomas Rue, Caleb Falconer. We think that was a breakthrough tournament for him, and he really shone there, didn't he? And he's a big, strong lad in comparison to Kundu, who's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And isn't that the beauty of the under-19s, that some of these lads are still not fully developed, and some really young lads versus, I mean, you were one of the older under-19s, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely. You're right. Like you're playing against all these players, and in a few years' time, you might go, oh yeah, played against him in the World Cup. So yeah, you definitely keep an eye on them, and you definitely remember the names. I think Falconer scored a few runs against us in the semi, didn't he? Yeah, he was good. So yeah, I agree. It's cool stuff.
Absolutely. And, you've got are you here for the whole season, or are you going to be heading back slightly early? Because obviously we know that
Yeah, I think
trials, etc. happen.
I think maybe 3 games early. I think
Okay.
I'm leaving mid August sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because the Queensland sort of start their season and have like I think it's called the T20
Yes.
Max.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll be heading back for that a few games early. So hopefully I can we can get AB in a good position in the league before I have to head off. So
What's the plan when you go back? Is it uni and maybe pushing for that rookie contract for Queensland?
yeah, hopefully well, I can't do uni quite yet when I get back because it's sort of the timings don't quite work.
Yeah, of
But
course.
I'll be playing cricket and working a bit and yeah, and then obviously all the contract stuff and all that stuff sort of takes care of itself. I don't really worry about that stuff too much. I'll just play cricket instead and enjoy it. So yeah, and then I'll definitely go back to uni next year. So I'll start that up again. So yeah.
Absolutely. So go on then. What is the number one thing so far that you've enjoyed apart from scoring 250?
Ooh, I reckon like going around Norwich the other day and having a look
Okay.
at real old English pubs and
Yeah.
looking around the city and the culture and all that stuff was real nice. That was really enjoyable. And the driving
Yeah.
range is hard to go past too. So yeah.
And I've got to ask the opposite. What's the one thing that you're thinking, oh God, I'm missing that?
Probably the drives between games. That's
Okay.
quite a ways between games. Like everything in Queensland's, like an hour's the most you'll drive, but most clubs are like 15, 20 minutes away. And then here it's like you got to get in the car and drive 2 hours. So yeah.
Yeah, you happen to have chosen the league with the longest drives in the entire country.
Yeah.
There is nowhere else does it like East Anglia, to say the least. So, hey,
Yeah.
been great catching up with you, Jade, and obviously we're going to keep an eye on what you do over the coming weeks. Fingers crossed, mate. Keep those runs coming and keep shining that light for under 19s, because we're big fans of the under 19 cricket. We love seeing what's going on there, mate.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure, bud. So it's time to do teammates with Jayden Draper down at Ashmanhaugh Barton Wanderers. He's only been with the boys for a few weeks, but he's got to know one or two of them. T10 teammates, always Jayden, because we love our T10 cricket as well. Dead simple one. Who's most likely to be late by the sounds of things at A and B?
Our captain, Joe, which is ironic.
Who's most likely to go on a reality show?
Zach Tribe.
Who's most likely to throw a bat?
Jordan Everett.
Who's most likely to ignore a WhatsApp?
Ami, our other marquee player. He's our pace bowler.
Who would you never want to share a car with on those long drives at East Anglia?
I don't know. I think everyone's pretty nice.
Who have you seen spending the longest on their hair?
Definitely Zach.
Who would you never want to go on a team night out with?
We'll say Ami, just because he didn't rock up last time, so I don't know what he's like.
Who's most likely to wind you up or start an argument?
Louis, I reckon. Yeah, he's wound me up a few times.
Who's most likely to Google themselves?
Zach as well. Yeah.
Who's the most famous person in your phone book that, if you could, you'd invite them to play at A and B?
Probably Cameron Boyce, I'd say. Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's T10 teammates at Ashmanhaugh Barton Wanderers.